The AFC playoffs are here. Could you have ever foreseen Cleveland and Houston playing in the playoffs? They play one another. We'll talk about it next on DJ Football. He is the NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah. I am Ryan Brown. It is DJ Football, presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. You get that deposit bonus with code next round. You can use it right away when once with it. It is yours and yours forever. MyBookie.ag, code next round. That is MyBookie.ag, code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag, code next round. You got you playoff geared up, DJ? You ready for the playoffs?
I am. That now that you say that, I feel like I'm emotionally ready. I feel like I'm prepared. Studying the games. I don't know that I'm in a good food situation yet, so I've got some planning to do. Saturday sneaks up on you.
It does. Unless you're living in the middle of a famine, you've got a couple of days here to take advantage of the local grocery stores and stock up. It is the early. You'll need to stock up before this game because it's the early NBC game on Saturday. Right now at MyBookie.ag, Cleveland a 2.5-point favorite over Houston. After the Nick Chubb injury and the way things worked out for Deshaun Watson this year, you could not have convinced me we'd be talking about Cleveland here. And at no point in the offseason or during this season could you have convinced me we'd be talking about Houston here. In a lot of ways, this is the most surprising matchup we could have gotten in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, and look, it's a testament not only to those players but to those coaching staffs. It's not a mystery that those are the favorites for Coach of the Year when you look at these two coaches. And then from a personnel office standpoint, to do what Nick Caserio did to completely turn this team over and to do it with young players, predominantly a rookie quarterback and some other key rookies. Unbelievable job by him. And then obviously the roster depth with Cleveland and the job that they've done there. Andrew Berry deserves a lot of credit for the roster that he's built. And then, Jim Schwartz on the defensive side of the ball, what a heck of a hire.
Yeah, so let's talk about Cleveland, and we'll get to Jim Schwartz, but let's start with the quarterback situation. I mentioned Deshaun Watson. When they got him, they thought they would be in this position with Deshaun Watson. Instead, they're in this position with Joe Flacco, which, look, you could do a lot worse at backup quarterback than a guy that's quarterbacked in a Super Bowl and has all this playoff experience.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Now, it's been a while since he's been in the postseason, but it's a powerful thing when you've got a leader that can step in front of the room and say, guys, okay, here's what we can expect. This is how it's different. This is what's expected of you once we get in the postseason. Oh, did I mention I'm 5-0 in wild card games? Did I mention that fact? So let's just relax. It's not bigger than it needs to be. I can take care of us here, even at a very young old age. That is Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I mean, it is remarkable he is where he is, but this team is driven by that defense. And Jim Schwartz, that's another guy that can stand up in front of a room and say, guys, there is nothing that will happen in this game I haven't seen before. He has seen some football, and he knows what he's doing, and his unit is the reason this game's even happening.
Yeah, he's always been about building a defense with pass rushers and corners, and they are in a great spot here. Obviously, when you start with the pass rushers there with Myles Garrett and what he brings, which again, by the way, is might be the best matchup of the weekend. The best one-on-one matchup is going to be Myles Garrett versus Laramie Tunsil. It's elite versus elite. However you want to stack them, however you want to rank them. I think everybody would agree, Ryan. We're talking about elite players going one-on-one, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, if I got a consensus opinion from the league and I said, is Myles Garrett a top 5 pass rusher and is Laramie Tunsil a top 5 tackle, I've probably got a pretty close to a consensus opinion. Both those are the top 5, right?
I won't stutter and say that you'd get 100% consensus top 5. I think, and if you're talking about 1 or 5, I think they're closer to 1 than they are to 5. I mean, these are special players that from Myles Garrett's standpoint, can take things over. It's a huge advantage when you have a premier left tackle because every other team in the league has to devote multiple resources to try and slow him down. I think they'll let Laramie Tunsil battle with him one-on-one. Laramie, one thing he needs to get better at, keep an eye on. Last week, false starts got him, put them behind the sticks a little bit. That's a road game in Indianapolis. This will be a home game there in Houston. That'll help. But man, they cannot have those boo-boos in this one. It's a win or go home game, and those 5 yards are precious.
All right, more on the Houston Texans, who won their way into the playoffs in just a moment. But right now, a reminder, MyBookie.ag, code next round. And MyBookie.ag brings you DJ Football. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. And when you use code next round at sign-on, you get that sign-on bonus. Win once with it. It is yours and yours forever. Not one of those you got to win 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times just to keep the money. One win, yours forever. MyBookie.ag, code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag right now. Cleveland, a 2.5-point road favorite at Houston. They're at MyBookie.ag. Also, Manscaped.com. I have here in my hand the Handyman. It's a compact travel razor, but it's good anywhere you want to use it. Just one of the many great products they have there at Manscaped.com. I use the Beard Hedger all the time. Keep the facial hair trimmed down. Hey, your playoffs are over in fantasy football, so get rid of that playoff beard. Use the Beard Hedger. Also, the Weed Whacker takes care of the nose hair and the ear hair and the lawnmower. Full body, including the undercarriage. Great boxer shorts, great male body products, all there at manscaped.com. And because you're watching DJ Football, you get a special discount. Code DJF20, DJF20, 20% off your initial order at manscaped.com. Listen, there's no other ifs, ands, and buts about it. This is the second round of the playoffs for the Houston Texans. They're 1-0 in the playoffs this year. That was a playoff game in Indianapolis. Lose, you go home like the Colts did. Win, you continue. They went on the road and got an impressive win.
I'll tell you what, it all starts with the quarterback. You know, CJ Stroud, to be in that environment, that pressure-packed environment on the road as a rookie, you know, it was a playoff game for them. And he got that experience. And not only was he able to, you know, survive in that atmosphere, he was able to thrive. And you know, the on-schedule throws, the first play of the game, he hits the home run ball over the top. You get a big 75-yard touchdown. That was impressive. To me, what he did under duress and under pressure as the game went along was even more impressive. You know, that throw he made where he just picked the spot on the field.
Crazy.
And just lofted one up. And lo and behold, you're able to get a completion. It was just, to me, it was just silly. Him and Nico Collins were 100% on the same page in that ball game.
Yeah, I believe it was Troy Aikman that said in the game, Nico Collins, it was either he or Buck, that Nico Collins is the most underrated receiver in the NFL, maybe. Would you agree with that? I mean, do we give Nico Collins enough love? The way he played Saturday night, I don't know how you can't.
Yeah, no, he's a 1. He definitely looked like a 1. And, you know, even when he was doing things earlier in the season, Tank Dell was getting a lot of the splash plays. The rookie who could really fly, unfortunately, lost him for the season. But I think now, I mean, it is no question that offense, that passing game goes through Nico Collins. And look, they're going to need him. They didn't need him to have a big game because the last time these two teams met, the receiver on the other side for the Cleveland Browns went for what was it? What was the numbers again? 265. Is that good? I think that's good. Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a fun battle between two guys who don't normally get mentioned as, you know, top wideouts in this league. But man, they're both playing great ball.
Yeah, but the head coach is an elite defensive coach in D'Amico Ryans. And though the pass was there, you know, it comes down to Houston's defense on the field trying to get a hold. They get that fourth down hold. And, I mean, you know, that's as good as CJ Stroud and Nico Collins has been. There, in a lot of ways, I mean, is the character of this team, the idea of this team, their defense because of their head coach?
Well, they've gotten so much better. They've made some key additions there, and it's not just been in the draft. Obviously, we know what they did with Will Anderson and how well he's played. Probably going to be the defensive rookie of the year. But, you know, midseason pickup, you end up getting Barnett off waivers after the Philadelphia Eagles move on from him, and he plugs right in and does a nice job for you. They've made some other nice additions along that front. Denzel Perriman's been playing linebacker, has done a nice job for them. So they've got a good mix of some young guys and then sprinkling in some veterans that have fit in beautifully with that team. So, they're going to need to play better in this meeting than they did in the previous one. Obviously, they have CJ Stroud on the offensive side of the ball. They didn't in that game. But defensively, they can't allow the ball to sail over their heads like they did in that first meeting.
Quarterback you would have the most faith in this game getting a second win in the playoffs. So they get the win in the wild card round. The quarterback you would have most faith in getting a win in the divisional round, either Flacco or Stroud. Who would you put your money on?
Well, you know, as much as I love the job that the Texans have done on the defensive side of the ball, only one of these teams gets to bring the number one defense in the league with them to go along with said quarterback. So I'll say Joe Flacco, and I'll say as impressive as CJ Stroud has been, and I've been blown away by him. That seems like an awful lot to ask of a rookie year one to be able to collect a couple postseason wins. It's a team that's on the rise. It's building. It's climbing. I don't know if they're there yet. So I would say the veteran Flacco, along with Jim Schwartz, in that number one defense.
First rookie quarterback head coach combo to make the playoffs in more than a decade, going back to Chuck Pagano and Andrew Luck. So it was asking a lot of them just to make the playoffs, much less advance, right?
House money. They are playing with house money right now.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, aren't both these teams?
Yeah, I think you could say that. I just think, this Cleveland team has some veterans,
Yeah,
and their best players are veterans. You could make a case that the best players, on Houston, you take away Laramie Tunsil, the majority of their best players are
that's a good
these
point.
young guys.
Yeah.
So to me, I think there's it's a little more savvy group there in Cleveland. I think the expectations, especially where they entered the season not knowing what was going to happen injury wise, I think the expectations were much higher in Cleveland than they were in Houston.
Early NBC Saturday game, Cleveland at Houston. Right now at mybookie.ag, Cleveland a 2.5-point favorite. We've got previews up with DJ here on all the AFC playoff games. The same place you got this video, Disrupt the Media on YouTube. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and set your alerts. All the NFC playoff games. Lance Taylor talks to the Brock Heward, and I'll give you a little if you want to get a live reaction as they were recording. Brock's a Seattle guy. The Pete Carroll news broke.
Nice.
Right as they were recording. So you get Brock's unfiltered reaction to Pete Carroll being
Nice.
out in Seattle.
Bonus.
Yeah. That's a little bonus right there on the NFC side.
Yeah.
So you get all that right here at Disrupt the Media. Hey, don't forget, mybookie.ag brings you DJ Football, code next round to get that sign-on bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag, and also manscaped.com, code DGF20 for 20% off your initial order, DJF20. He is Daniel Jeremiah, the NFL Network, and this is DJ Football.